So I know the lighting is kind of whack. As you guys know, that's my #1 challenge in YouTube land, is getting the lighting right in my car. I am always washed out. And at my house, oh my god, you guys, the lighting in my house is horrendous. So I know I mentioned this before, but with just getting started on YouTube and not really having a presence or an audience even really to kind of give me feedback on what they want to see, I'm going to start by going through all of my blogs that are already on my website and have been up, and I'll just cover those via vlog, and then things like my book and things that come up here and there. And then once I've gone through my entire blog list, then I'll start adding new stuff. With that, I'm going down my blog list now to see what's next to cover. So let's see. Unplugging for your gifts, done. Should kids be educated about or exposed to paranormal? Done. Do you believe in demons? Not done. So this vlog will be about demons. So this should be interesting. I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this vlog. Not intentionally, it's just what's gonna happen because I see the future. Actually, I don't. But this is a topic that usually gets me a lot of hate because my views are largely different than most in the paranormal community, especially considering I do see the dead, and so people assume that I think there are demons, but I don't. So let's kind of go into the whys and hows of all that now. Hopefully I will clarify it so that it's not a huge deal, because I think that there is a, how do I say this? I think there's a misunderstanding as to what I'm saying when I just simply say I don't believe in demons, because it's not that black and white to me. So hopefully we can clear that up a little bit. I do want to preference this by saying that while I don't believe in demons myself, I fully understand completely why most people do, including good friends of mine. I have good friends in the community and out of the community that I adore and love and respect on every level, including a professional level in the community, and they do believe in demons, and that's their prerogative. I just don't myself, and I have a lot of reasons for that, partially because of what I've been told by spirit, and also just my own experiences with the paranormal, which is a lifetime of experiences just because of who I am and what I've done my whole life. With that said, let me kind of elaborate on that a little bit. Like I said, of course, most of the world believes in demons because they have been conditioned to do so. Every media outlet there is, movies, TVs, songs, books, promotes these demons, these scary monsters of the devil, these evil beings that are not human. They're almost like monsters under your bed that are going to do horrible things to you and to your soul and make you do evil things and possess you and get into your head and take over. And if you are a bad person, one day you're going to go to hell, this big flaming pit with this big red guy and his pointing ears and his pitchfork. And all these demons, these weird creatures, are gonna whatever, beat you, eat you, I don't freaking know. It's not even remotely how it works from what I have been advised via spirit and from the information I've been given from my grandma, who was gifted, from the information in the books that I've read from my grandma that she left to me when she passed away, from my encounters with spirits, from my guides. None of the knowledge, everything I have been told collaboratively has suggested that that information is inaccurate. With that said, it's not so simple in black and white. I do absolutely 110% believe in evil spirits. I do believe that those spirits can manipulate you. I do believe that they can get in your head if you're not of strong mind. I do believe that this is a whole other vlog in itself, but I will slightly touch on this. In very rare instances, they could possess you. However, that is a choice. Like I said, this is a whole other vlog possession. I'm not even gonna go into the possession talk really at this point. That'll be another vlog down the line, which will piss more people off, I'm sure. But possession is a choice. It may not be a conscious choice, but it's a choice. To allow spirit control you that way is something that can be prevented. But yes, I do think that there are negative spirits that prey on living, weaker souls, and that could, in rare instances, possess you and can get into your head and manipulate you to feel down, to feel angry, to feel drained and whatnot. Maybe even whisper, action thoughts into your head. And they're toxic, absolutely. Negative spirits, evil spirits. Listen, bad people aren't just bad people, they're bad souls. The rapists, the serial killers, their souls are evil. And when they die, they have two choices, right? When they die, they can either go to that other side and let God put them where they belong, and we can take whatever lessons they need from him and basically see, the problem with discussing these things is there's way too many other vlogs that tie into these, but this is such a complicated situation. Hopefully, as all my vlogs start to come together, you'll get the bigger picture. I will briefly explain, when you pass away, whoever you are, it doesn't matter if you're a saint or if you are the worst human being on the planet. When you die, your soul goes to the other side. We'll just blanket statement that and say the other side. We can get into the other dimensions and realms and planes and all that. That's a whole other vlog for itself. Let's just say your soul goes to the other side. At that point, I will again go into this in another vlog, but you are basically put in school. And I don't mean that in the literal sense, but it in a sort of sense it is. So I like to look at it as grade through high school, go to college, whatever. And let's say one of two things happens. Either you're a horrible person, you did a lot of bad shit, or you're just a very inexperienced, naive person who really didn't experience much, right? For whatever reason. Maybe you had a horrible disability that prevented you from really experiencing life. Maybe you were just very, very introverted and you really didn't, you hermited yourself in, you had some sort of debilitating mental or emotional issue, whatever the case may be. You didn't really have too many experiences. Or maybe you just passed very, very young, which obviously we know happens. At that point, you're then put, based on your soul, by the way, you have to remember your soul. Okay, this is getting so intricate, but I guess to understand my perspective, you have to kind of understand the pieces. The soul that's in your body right now, okay, the life you are in right now is not the only life. Well, for some of you maybe this is your first round, but most of us, especially this far out, most of us have had multiple lives at this point. I know of a few of mine, but I would imagine I've had way more than I personally acknowledge, just because of how old my soul is. Depending on your soul's knowledge bank, depending on your soul's lessons learned. So even if this life you didn't necessarily learn a lot, or this life you didn't have a whole lot of life experiences, you could still be a really old soul who just didn't get out much. And that's going to change where you go when you pass, versus a really young soul who did a lot but still doesn't have the knowledge of the old soul who was a hermit, right? Unless you're a really bad soul, and then you're still gonna end up in a different place. But whoever you are, however old your soul is, not your body, your soul, and based on however many lessons you've learned as an entire soul, not just in this lifetime, when this body dies, you then go to a grade. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, high school, freshman year, freshman in college, whatever it may be. And if your soul itself is very, very young and naive, or if your soul is bad, you've got a dirty soul, God puts you right in pre-K, right in kindergarten, right in first grade, and says, look, start over. You're not getting this, right? You're not grasping these concepts. So we're going to put you back in school and you're going to relearn it. And it's very possible that while I don't believe in the God-fearing whatever, I feel that God is a very loving and generous and giving entity, but I also don't think he's a pushover, right? Tough love is very important, and I don't think he's going to stab you with a freaking pitchfork, and I don't think he's going to beat you with a belt, but I do think that he is going to make sure that you're handled, you know what I mean? So yes, I think that when you pass, if you're a bad person, you have two options, okay? So you can go to that side and take whatever's coming, right? Go to the first grade and start all over again. And what I think God often punishes us with, I think I'm being punished right now, is being sent back here, to be quite honest with you. And I think that depending on what we did, determines how much bullshit we have to deal with now. And that's why I've made peace with a lot of the things in my life, because I am familiar with what I was in a past life. And while I do personally feel that I have more than earned my get out of jail free card, apparently God has other plans for me. But with that said, I think that a lot of souls, when they pass, are terrified of what's coming. Either they know that they're going to be sent back earthbound after their pre-K kindergarten lessons, or they don't know what the unknown is. They don't know if there's a big man with a pitchfork ready to, wow, I can't say that this is a PG. But so they bounce out. They skip school, right? So when you die, you can cross over, and this is getting, I'm not going to discuss crossing over too much, because like I said, that's a whole other one, and that doesn't just have to do with bad spirits. That has to do with anyone crossing over or not crossing over. Good people choose to stay earthbound for different reasons, and that crossed over spirits versus earthbound spirits, like I said in a previous one, are very different entities, and their interaction with us are very different. But in terms of negative spirits specifically, when they die, a lot of times they're either afraid of what's coming because they don't know, and they really think some evil man with horns is coming for them, or they know that they're going to have to start all over, and they know they're going to have to come back to Earth, probably in a position they don't want to be in, and they just would rather not deal with it. So they can either go do that, be reborn, and hopefully become a better person in the next life. Maybe they're, whatever. Or, and by the way, if you're really bad, you might come back and be reborn as like an ant that's going to get shot up an anteater's nose, or, you know what I mean? You really might have to start from the ground up, or some third world country. And I don't say that in a way that offends third world country. I'm not saying that those people are evil or anything. I'm just saying that depending on what your vice was, like let's say you were super greedy and you robbed a bunch of people, you might get stuck in a third world country so you can learn to be grateful for what you have and to live off the land, that type of thing. So off topic right now. The point of that was that a negative spirit, a negative human being who does really, really bad things and then dies, has to become a negative soul. That soul is either going to go to the other side, let God do whatever he's going to do, put him in whatever past he's going to put him in, and then reincarnate his ass into whatever life he needs to learn from, or he's going to not cross over, and he's going to stay earthbound. And when he does that, that nasty negative soul, he's going to stay earthbound, and he's going to need something to do with his time. And he's a bad soul, or she, whatever. And for shits and giggles, or to get his kicks off, because a lot of those souls feed off of other people and their misery, they will then mess with the living and manipulate the living and blah blah blah. With the thing of manipulation, spirits are amazing. It's not so simple as there's a shadow, oh there's a face. I know that I hate the media. Freaking hate the media, you guys. The media makes negative spirits, demons, entities, dark entities, whatever, they're all this blanketed thing. I'm planning to do angels soon after this, which is also going to piss off a lot of people. But the underlying message is the same across the board. What it comes down to is perspective. Same with aliens. All of it is the same. Look, demons, creatures that were not living humans, okay? Non-human creatures that are worker bees for the devil, who is a man who lives in a fiery pit of hell and this is the epitome of all evil and is going to get your soul if you're bad when you die. It's not how it works at all. There are bad souls, there are bad seeds, they do bad things, and they can do whatever they want. You have a soul, these bad souls, because they don't want to cross. It's not like a good soul who's hanging out for a while until their family members cope, or has to just stick around until they get this one last message and then they're gonna go. These negative souls do not want to go back, so they stay for years, decades, centuries, right? And all they're doing is building up all this energy, learning new tricks. And in that, they can change their voice, appear however the heck they want to appear. So if they know humans in this time frame are tailored and programmed primarily because of both the Bible and the media to believe that bad spirits or that demons are real, or that the worst thing you could ever come across is a demon, and a demon looks like XYZ, then to really get their jollies, they're going to appear as XYZ. They're gonna say, see that little kid? He's afraid of guys with horns and pointy ears and red skin. Let's do it, right? If the media said demons look like cows with pink polka dots, be afraid of cows with pink polka dots. The spirits who are trying to screw with you would make themselves look like cows with pink polka dots. That is what would happen. But because the media has programmed this certain type of image as the most scary thing you could ever come across, that is what spirits make the choice to do. That doesn't mean that's what they really look like. That doesn't mean that's how they really sound when they make their voice all blah, 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 blah. And so it's all perspective. Okay, so now this is where you have two sides of really pissed off people at me, okay? You have the diehard Bible readers, churchgoers. No disrespect to you guys, not my cup of tea. I have a very great relationship with God in my own business, in my own house, on my own terms. But you're gonna have those ones who are crazy. You're wrong. God and the devil are two separate things and they hate each other and blah, 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 blah. Fine. That's cool. You're entitled to your opinion on that. I strongly disagree with it. But that's cool. You can go ahead and hate on me, do the whole Christian thing where you say that you're a Christian person and then come attack another person for their opinion. Have fun with that. And no, I'm not saying all you Christians. I'm just saying the ones that are going to do that. It's not very Christian. Because I'm not insulting you guys. I'm just saying that that's what I've been... That's where I'm coming from. It's not legit to me. For me, personally, I don't believe in demons. I do believe in evil spirits who can appear however the heck they want to. And I do think that perception is everything. I think that goes for angels, that goes for aliens, that goes for leprechauns. Soul's a soul. Huh. See, this is a whole nother vlog in itself again. But a soul is a soul. A dog soul is a human soul, is a cat soul, is a mouse's soul, is a fish's soul. We're souls. We're energy. We're an essence. We're not a body. I mean, this is a suit, right? So I don't know how to explain it any better than that. A soul is a soul is a soul is a soul. It's a flesh suit. That's it. Dog's got a fur suit. Fish got a sail suit. Right? It's suit. But my fish, I don't even like fish. I hate fish. Anyone who knows me, I don't do freaking fish. They're freaking nasty. But my daughter got a fish this little big a couple Christmases ago. The damn thing grew. He's like this big. I knew it was going to happen. I prepared myself for it. The thing has a soul. He thinks he's a dog. It's a fish. It's supposed to have a brain this teeny. The thing knows everything. He is the smartest damn fish on the planet. I worked with animals forever. 5.5 years I worked with cats, dogs, bunnies, you name it. They know shit. They know shit. They're not just furry, brainless little things. A soul is a soul is a soul. So this creature divide thing, well, no, it's a demon because it's a creature of the devil. No, it's a soul. It's an energy, it's an essence. And however it presents itself to you, because it thinks that's the most scary thing to you, because the media said it was scary for you, because the big book and the fancy buildings called churches say that that's what's scary, that's what they do. Because they can, because they know it'll work. But at the end of the day, they're just bad souls. They're just nasty souls. They could have been a dog 2 lives ago. They could have been a cricket 5 lives ago. They could have been a really great person 20 lives ago. Right now, they're a really rotten soul. Boom, and destroyed. Okay, so the other half of that is going to be I think they're called demonologists. Y'all are gonna learn real fast that I don't actually know anything about the terminology. I don't know the tools, although I have to learn for my second series, so that's gonna be exciting. But I don't know most of the tools, and I don't know a whole lot of the terminology. I'm learning. I've just gone off of my experiences just naturally, organically, so I'm learning all the actual terminology. But I think they're called demonologists or something. They're gonna be pissed at me and they're gonna tell me all the different things that they've personally experienced and the blessings that they've casted out demons and they've seen firsthand possession. That's fine. 90% of you guys, I don't doubt what you're saying. I don't. And I say 90% because in all populations, mediums, psychics, I'm in that ball too, tarot readers, car salesmen, whatever, any field, any industry, there's always going to be fakes and hacks. So I always leave room for those people. But for legit people who have had real life experiences in the terms of demonology or whatever it is that you call it, I believe you. I believe that you encountered something crazy. I believe that you saw everything that you say you saw. I believe that you heard everything you heard. You felt everything you felt. I believe that you did something that with full intent got rid of that entity and that you cleansed the area. I believe you. Absolutely. What I don't believe is that you fully understood what was happening and why it was working the way that it was working. And I don't believe that that's your fault. Again, that's the media, that's the Bible, that's what we've been conditioned and taught to believe our entire lives. You can't blame anybody for believing this stuff because that's all they know to believe, right? The only reason I have any sort of different opinion is because I have inside information and I've seen too much on my own to fall victim to the knowledge that's being just shoved down my throat. What I think happened is you came across a really bad spirit or spirits, and they presented themselves however they felt would be the most efficient in terms of freaking people out. Noises, chains, possessions, whatever they needed to do to get their point across. And again, another vlog, completely separate, but you did a cleansing. I do that in air quotes because just like demons and angels, I feel like it's a term that's almost abused. You don't need the bells and whistles. You don't need the holy water. You know what? Actually, holy water you should probably stay away from because I've had really bad things happen during my childhood with holy water. Whole other vlog. But I would say I want to get into it without getting into it. Intention is all you need to clear a room. It helps to have guides of spirit. It helps to have, light energy. It helps to have certain things that make you feel safe, that, bring extra backup. Absolutely. But you don't need the bells and whistles to do it. However, it will work with the bells and whistles because the point is intention. So if you went to the building with whatever little gadgets you had or whatever tools you had, and you fully committed and believed, we're going to get these guys out. and you did it, and you did it with whatever blah 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 you had, and whoop, they were gone. Well, yeah, it worked because you really believed it was going to happen. You really wanted them out. You were committed to the process. You used whatever tools you felt inside of you was going to push them out, and that energy got rid of it. However, had you done the exact same thing without most of the gadgets, it would have worked too. Because at the end of the day, it's just intention. It helps to have, protection from the other side. So things like crystals to keep you safe, things like protection from loved ones. I personally use the white light technique, but the point is you just find one or two things to really hone in on to really help you focus and get that energy going. You don't need 50 million things and cowbells and all the other weird stuff that people pull out of their pockets to do this stuff. It will work with it because at the end of the day, the intent is still the same, but you don't need it. It's just a bunch of theatrical crap, if you ask me. And I don't do that in a way to offend anybody. It's just the facts. You don't need all the bells and whistles. You just need you, really. But the point of this is, I believe you. I believe the demonologist. I don't believe that we don't need demonologists. It's terminology. It's terminology. We give these blanketed terms to things that cannot possibly condensed into blanketed terms. Spirits come in all shapes and sizes, and I don't mean that like plus size and curvy and thin. I mean that in you just couldn't even believe the type of spirits are. Besides earthbound and crossed, or bad and good, there are old souls and new souls and confused souls and lost souls and strong souls. There are souls that are completely transparent, some that are completely like you can't even tell if they're real or not. There are some that are just dark shadows, and not all dark shadows are bad. So important to know. Not relevant to this, but so important to know. So to just blanket demons and say, okay, that one's acting up, he's a demon. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, so I don't want to say that we don't need demonologists. I'm sorry guys, I can't say the word. Okay. I don't like the term demon because of what it represents, because it's an inaccurate representation of something. So by default, I don't like the term demonology. Because can't like demonology and not agree that there's demons, right? But I do think that there is a demand for people who can handle that realm of spirit. So yes, I do think there's a need for someone who is comfortable doing a cleansing, who is controlled and can control their space, because a lot of people don't know how to do that. It takes a very specific type of mindset and a very little, I'm not afraid of, there's 0.00. I'm 100 times more afraid of the living than I am the dead. And it's because I'm in control of my space. I know that I'm in control of my body. I know I'm in control of my mind. I know when something's too close. I know how to get rid of it when it's getting too close. I know how to cleanse my space. I know how to cleanse my area. And so there's no fear in me. And I'm finding more and more that that's a very rare thing. Even not just people in the paranormal field. I mean, universally, a lot of people are afraid of the paranormal, which I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even think people believed in the paranormal. Like, when I first came out, I just was so terrified of being crucified, of even believing in the paranormal, let alone dealing with the paranormal. And then to find that not only do most people believe, but most people are very afraid, blew my mind. But yes, I do think that we need people who are strong and in control and can do this properly. I don't think we should call them demonologists because there's no demons, but potato, I don't know. Yes, I believe evil spirits need to be removed. Yes, I believe that specific people can handle that better than others. And so for that, yes, demonologists, thank you for taking the time to help these people who do need help getting rid of it. I apologize that I don't believe in your terminology. Okay, I don't apologize. I'm not sorry that I don't believe in your terminology, but I am sorry that if it offends you. It's not my intention. I'm just saying that maybe you can look at it from another perspective. And with that, I feel like it makes things so much easier too, because you're not questioning, okay, which demon is this? And you're just a bad spirit. bad spirit is bad spirit. What does it matter what his name is? If his name is Kung Fu Demon Butt, who cares what his name is, as long as he gets going, right? Get him out of the house, right? So I don't understand all the hype. The hype's a bunch of hype. And I think it's clouding the community. I think it's making people crazy. I think it's making people fight. I think it's making people more afraid than they need to be, which again is a whole other vlog. And I think it's not, I don't think it's productive. I don't think it's productive for anybody. And I definitely don't think it's productive for those in the paranormal community. And the media has done a very good job of programming us to believe certain things and to expect certain images for certain things. You know, what are you gonna do, right? Most spirits are actually very good. Most spirits aren't bad. I'm gonna say one last thing. There are very few horribly evil spirits in the world. Let's label them demons, whatever you want to call them. They're so freaking rare. How many human beings do you know that murder people? How many human beings do you know that serial raped people? There may be a few of you who have a couple. I'm sorry for that. But most of us don't even know any. Maybe we know of someone who knows of someone. And if we do, it's like one. I don't, personally. We don't, and of those murders, was it an accident? Was like, who knows? How many evil, truly to the core evil, not something bad happened to them and they turn into a bad person, or they have a drug problem and so they're acting that way because they're under the influence, and also a whole other vlog. But let's straight up evil people. You look in their eyes and you can feel something's not right. I mean, I've passed them in the stores before and stuff, but I've never actually met them. I don't know them on a personal level. That's how few, however many those are, those people have to die and become those spirits. Not the way that things are set up. Every freaking ghost, those ghost shows make me ape shit crazy, you guys. Every spirit is an evil spirit. Every spirit is a bad spirit. Movies, TV, theater, I mean, the books, you name it. Every spirit they come across seems to be bad and negative. Half of them seem to be demons. It is not possible. It's just not possible. There are way too many good people who die. There are so few living evil spirits that become dead spirits that are those bad spirits. There cannot be that many even out there, first of all, and then just in your realm, you just keep coming across all these bad spirits. Either that says something horribly bad about you, that you're drawing them in, or you're just a damn liar, or you're interpreting things very, very wrong. Not every spirit is negative. Most spirits are not negative. And even of the negative spirits, if you want to go as far as to call them demon, how many demons could there possibly be in the world? That's crazy cakes. It's crazy. So, I just want to add that little tidbit in there. You guys, let up on the negative spirit shit. Like, fuck. So few. Most spirits are not bad. There are a lot of obnoxious ass spirits. Don't get me wrong. Pain in the butt spirits. But you know what? I'm gonna be a pain in the butt spirit if I don't cross too. So, what? You know? But as for bad spirits, they're just not there. You'll probably never even come across one. Unless you're really looking for them. You know, you go and investigate bad places, right? Like insane asylums. I'm not saying that all people in bad are insane asylums, but a lot of times they house criminals that did really bad things. Prison, stuff like that. You're probably going to go and find some bad spirits. But if you're just hitting up the neighborhoods and your local haunted joints, you're not going to find that many freaking evil spirits. Let's just be practical. Like, I know that the paranormal is this beyond logic, right? Paranormal is past the logical brain. But let's be kind of practical, right? You can be a believer without losing common sense. I personally think you can. Maybe you can't. I think you can. I think you can have common sense and still believe. I think you can be active in the community and still have your wits about you. And I think you can question things without not being a believer. If that was the case, I'd be the biggest non-believer who sees dead people you'd ever meet. Because I don't take things at face value. I do question things. I do, try to make sense of things first before just assuming that everything has to have some sort of paranormal background to it. now in my life. A lot of times it is paranormal based. But I do try to find an explanation prior to that. And I do try to be logical about things. Okay, so this is just getting really crazy and rambly, but the gist of it is it all comes down to perception and terminology. A bad spirit is a bad spirit. A soul is a soul is a soul. For those of you who say, well, other entities physically, you know, besides cats and dogs and animals, there's fairies and leprechauns, and I honestly don't know what other, I know that there's creatures, like people who really believe in all these creatures. I again come back to the same thing. I don't doubt that you've experienced those things. Well, most of you. Again, there's always that percentage. I believe that you saw whatever you saw, and maybe I'm Irish. I'm supposed to believe in leprechauns and fairies, and I don't not believe in that. There used to be dinosaurs, right? They're not here anymore. There used to be a lot of species of things that aren't here anymore. A lot of people believe in mermaids, part of Atlantis. In fact, I believe in Atlantis. So who knows what was there. But at the end of the day, even if it's a fairy, even if it's a leprechaun, it's still just a species of something. A fairy is probably a species of a bird of some sort. Half human, half bird, I don't freaking know. Or a dragonfly. It's an insect, right? A fairy would be just an insect species, as far as I'm concerned. The leprechaun is just another type of person. You know, we're all different. But their soul is still their soul. The energy is still the energy. So I'm not saying there's no... I'm not saying there are. But who am I to say what there is and isn't in terms of physical flesh suits? I don't know. Maybe there's fairies, maybe there's leprechauns. Maybe there's not. I don't know. But I do know that what's inside of the flesh suit, what's inside of the fairy outfit, what's inside of the leprechaun body, or the cat dog, or the mouse, whatever, is a soul. It's an essence, it's an energy, it's a life source that we cannot simply just say is good or evil. Black and white, demon, angel, whatever. And so it just doesn't sit well with me. And I guess that's it, really. So from my perspective, there are no demons. There are not these non-human creatures that work for the devil and cause havoc, and when you die and you're a bad person, you'll meet them in hell, and smokes and mirrors, right? It's just what I think. I think demonologist, not because I believe there are demons, but because you're trying to rid other people's lives of negative energy. Shamans, cleansers, anyone who's doing that in any format with the intention of helping others, thank you. I may not believe in your terminology, I may not believe in your perspective, but I do value your intention and I appreciate it. I guess the point of doing the vlog is people ask me if I believe in demons all the time. And when I say no, I get a whole lot of kickback. And it's not such a simple no answer for me. And literally, like, every time I say no, there's no explaining it. Like, I will try to start explaining, and it's just like, you suck, you blah, 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 blah. And the whole paranormal bickering, it's a whole nother vlog also, but I don't have that energy for it. So I just figured, rather than just say no I don't and let the hate storm start, that, and I think it's important for people to understand basically that a soul is a soul. It sounds funny, it seems way too simple, but it is. I mean, a soul is a soul is a soul. That dog soul could be a human soul his next life. Maybe it was 2 souls ago. The cricket could have been a human soul his previous life. You just don't know. And your butt could be an ant. You know what I mean? Who knows what's going to happen next life, the life after that. What a soul looks like to you when you see a entity, ghost, spirit, whatever you want to call it, is not representative of what they are. At the end of the day, they are just a soul. They are not a demon. They're not a creature from the Black Lagoon. But that's just not what it is. For the high and mighty religious people, not the religious people who are open-minded and have their opinions and agree to disagree and whatever, respect everybody, I'm with you. But for the high and mighty ones, the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs ones, don't waste my time. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not. And it's not because you're right or wrong, it's because I don't have the energy to just sit there and argue about shit I don't care about. Sorry. I don't mean that in an offensive way to people who are into the Bible and all that stuff. Look, it's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea. I love and respect God tremendously. He is a huge part of my life every single day. And I'm not going to argue the Bible or Jesus or church or demons and angels and stuff with you. I'm just not doing it. Either take my opinion, let it resonate, maybe see my point of view, and maybe make whatever tweaks you need to yours, or dislike it, click another button. Just go to another YouTube video, keep it moving. Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on demons. No, I don't believe in demons. I don't think it's anyone's fault that everyone else does. I think it's the media's fault, and I understand it and respect it. I just don't personally own the same opinion or perspective on it. But you know what now? I am always open to new perspectives, and on that note, which kind of goes hand in hand with this evil stuff, I didn't believe in possession. My grandma, who taught me about spirits, had talked about possession, and I still didn't believe in possession for a long time. There was no way. I thought it was all crazy cakes. And then something happened. No, I wasn't possessed. But something did happen, and I realized that spirit can get in the body. But I also realized how much control you have, and that you know when it's happening, and that unless you allow that to happen, it can't happen. And I'm not sure that possession could be as intense as, the movies. Like, who knows? I haven't been possessed. The reason I'm throwing that in there is because I'm always open to other perspectives. I'm always open to other ideas. Don't go biblical on me. I won't even entertain it. But if you have a logical thought process, that's, I'm open to that. But with this, and I will say this multiple times throughout my vlogs, because I'm sure it's going to bring up a lot of controversy, I will not enable open comments on my vlogs, ever. There's a reason for it. 2 reasons for it. 1, I'm trying this positive energy thing. I'm not trying it. I've been living it for a while, and it's very, very beneficial for me. So while I respect everyone's opinions, and I will always post other people's opinions if it's respectful, when you start getting that nasty negative crap, I'm not reading it. I'm not falling for it. It's gone. I don't want it on my page. I don't want other people reading it. The negative energy is not healthy for anybody. Plus, get a life. The other reason is that much of my work, much of what I'm here for is for these kids, these gifted kids. Is what my book is about. It's I think my purpose here. And I don't want kids who are already on the fence about their gifts, who are already feeling uneasy about their gifts, who are already being judged about their gifts, to come to my videos and then scroll down the feed with a bunch of hate, right? You can hate on me all you want. I don't really give a shit. But I don't want these kids to come thinking they're learning something or thinking that they found someone who's like them and then reading horrible, nasty, negative comments about who they also are or the things they also experience or think or feel. That's not going to happen on my channel. So you can call it being a coward. You can call it dishing it, not taking it, whatever you want to say. That's fine. We can go back and forth privately all you want. But I will not be enabling comments ever. They're enabled, but I have to approve them. And I will not be posting anything that's nasty for those reasons. There's no benefit to have that negativity on my page. And I don't want those kids exposed to it at all. So feel free to comment. Feel free to give your perspective. If it's respectful and polite and insightful, it'll go up. If it's not, you won't see it up. So that's just the way it is. All right, guys, that's all for today.